Hey everyone, this is Riddle Hacker AJ Raven, and welcome back to my recap and review of Animal Kingdom season number 4, episode number 11, which is titled Julia. So, getting the FTC obligation stuff aside, I was provided a free screener of this episode for review. The opinions are my own. So yeah, this episode opens up with a very pregnant Janine walking into this what is this? This cafe for breakfast, and she's talking to the waitress. And after she orders her meal, Colin comes in with the gun, and he ends up taking Janine hostage, and he forces everyone to give away their cash, their jewelry, watches, anything, or else he'll shoot Janine. And this entire scene reminded me of how, remember, I guess it was in season 2 or maybe it was season 1, I'm not sure, but Janine ended up taking Joshua to some pub, and they both ended up working together to steal from everyone there by acting as if Joshua was a thief and he was going to shoot Janine. So this scene reminded me of that. So, yes, Janine is a good learner. Anyway, after they steal, they run away in the car. And this is where Janine and Colin have a conversation about how Colin wants Janine to sit down and rest because she's pregnant. She's almost due, and he doesn't want Janine to do anything more because she isn't as fast as she was before. And also they have hit up a lot of these diners to get their money so they can rest a while. But Janine, she doesn't want to rest. She wants to keep on stealing. She wants to live life. And then we get to the current timeline, and Pope ended up not sleeping all night after he locked Angela in the bathroom. And Joshua comes in, and Pope is like, Joshua, why didn't you tell me that you saw Angela yesterday? And Joshua is like, I forgot. I didn't think that it was very important. And I'm like, Joshua, you're lying to Pope, and you don't lie to Pope. So Pope goes into the bathroom, and Angela is sleeping on the floor. He wakes her up, and of course Angela is rightfully disappointed and angry at Pope. And she's like, I can't do this, Pope. I'll take my belongings and I'll just get out of here. But Pope is like, no, Angela, don't make me force you to get into the truck, because he wants to take her somewhere. And for those of you who don't know, Sean Hatosi, who plays Pope in this show, ended up directing this episode. And yeah, his glare at Angela knew that she couldn't fight because Pope will use immense strength to get what he wants. So over at Craig's place, Ren is talking to her clients. They're addicts and they want their supply of coke and everything else. And while she's messaging her clients on her phone, Greg is actually wrapping their son up like a burrito, like how the nurse taught him. And it was a fun little scene. And Ren is like, yeah, I get it, what you're trying to teach me. And yeah, their son is so cute. Over at Darren's place, Adrian is very happy that it turns out that Adrian enjoyed Janine's party, and he goes out and he sits next to Deran, and he tries to talk to Deran, but Deran doesn't say anything. He just gets up and goes into the bedroom, and Adrian follows, and Adrian is like, Deran, what's up? You're clearly troubled. And this is where Deran ends up telling Adrian that Smurf knows that Adrian was talking to the police. And Adrian is like, then didn't you tell Smurf that I didn't say anything? Like, help me, Deran. And Deran is like, I can't help you because Smurf wants you dead. And the look on Adrian's face, whoa. So yeah, Deran is very, very angry at everyone. He's angry at himself. He's angry at Adrian. He's angry at Smurf. And he tells Adrian that do you know why we never got caught? It's because Smurf used to handle this stuff preemptively. She used to silence anyone who could bring danger or the cops to the family. And now it's Adrian's turn. And then after that, he walks away. So over at the Cody's house, Pope wants Angela to eat something. And yeah, Angela isn't in the mood of it. And seeing Joshua in the back like that and seeing what's happening, it was a very fun, exciting little scene. And Pope, before he leaves, he tells Joshua that he needs to clean up the house, which Joshua does. So over in the past, we see that Janine ends up taking Colin into this new house, and it was very surprising when it was revealed that the house that she was showing Colin was actually the current Cody house, and it was fun to see what it kind of looked like before Janine ended up changing it a lot. Janine plans to buy this house, and Colin is like, "Where will we get the money? And do you really think because of our lifestyle we can settle down?" And Janine is like, "Nothing will change, Colin. We will go on as we already do. However, I do want my child to have a lawn to play in and have a good life." Deran ends up going to Craig for help, and when he enters, Craig is spending time with his son, but Deran actually ignores his son, and Craig doesn't like that, and Craig actually lets Deran hear about how Deran needs to be more respectful of Craig's family and that he needs to be more respectful of his new nephew. And Deran is like, "Yeah, I get it, Craig. I understand. I'm sorry. I'm just in a lot of trouble." And this is where Deran ends up asking Craig for passports because it turns out that he needs to take Adrian out of the country. They decide to run away to Mexico, and Craig is like, "Why?" And Darren is like, "It's because Adrian has been talking to the cops." And Craig is like, "How much?" And Darren is like, "A lot. Adrian knows a lot and he's in trouble and I want you to help me." And Craig knows Adrian as well, so of course he's going to help. So over in the past, Colin is taking good care of Janine, and I like their little relationship because actually, if you ask me, I really thought that Colin was going to run away or something, but no, and hurt Smurf's heart, and no, he's staying around, he's helping her eat healthy and all of that, and then they see hear a knock at the door, and it's Manny, and it turns out that over the past couple of years, not years, months, my bad, over the past couple of months, Colin and Manny ended up getting into a fight. Apparently, Colin, said names to Janine, and Colin ended up trying to break Manny's jaw. But then again, Smurf has a plan, and she needs Manny's help, and she asks Manny to take Colin with him because this job is going to pay a lot. So it turns out that Pope ended up taking Angela to an ANA, Alcoholic Anonymous meeting, and Angela doesn't want to go in there, and Pope forces her to, but then Angela is like, "If I'm going in there, you're going in there with me, Pope." And Pope ends up going in there, and this is where Angela ends up saying a lot of truths. It turns out that she indeed went to Smurf for money because Smurf used to give money to Julia, and Angela wanted money too. But then Angela thought that she could get into the house by getting closer to Pope because Pope used to like her, and her plan worked. So basically, there were fan theories that Angela was actually a mole working for the police, but it turns out that she's just a manipulative person and she was just after the money, and she knew that Pope was a soft target, so she ended up attacking him, and it worked. So over at the Cody's residence, Frankie comes back and Joshua's there, and Frankie's like, "Let me in, it will be worth your time." And they end up talking, and Frankie knows that Smurf's dying, and she ends up telling Joshua that she and him are the same, both of them are survivors, and when Smurf dies, all of this is going to come crashing down unless Joshua takes hold. And Frankie has a job for Joshua, but then again, when only 2 more episodes left, I don't know how many jobs the Codys are going to be able to pull. So it turns out that the job that Manny and Colin and Jake went for, it turned out quite well, and they ended up stealing $25,000, and Colin even gives Janine a present. It's a little mini ankle gun, and she's happy about it. So after Angela has spilled the beans to Pope still doesn't want to let Angela go, and Angela has more to say. She ends up telling Pope that Julia loved him and she continued to love him, but then Pope decided to stay with Smurf, and Julia, until the day she died, she still waited for Pope to come knocking at her door, but Pope never came. And there's a lot of guilt that's eating Pope inside, especially with how he treated Julia, and then he ended up killing Lucy's mother, Lena's mother, not Lucy, Lena's mom. And But yeah, he's trying to do good by helping Angela, and Angela is like, there are no do-overs, Pope, and Pope is like, why not? He immediately ends up acting like a child. And then I'm also like, Pope, if you really want to set things right, shouldn't you be trying to help Joshua as well? Like everyone is remembering Julia, about how they loved Julia, and how extremely close Julia and Pope were, and also Pope also liked Baz, and I'm like, Julia and Baz's son is Joshua. So, Pope, you really need to do better with Joshua. So, over in the car, Angela and Pope are sitting, and Pope tells her that she can still live in the house, but she needs to stop doing drugs. And Angela's like, I'll try, Pope. No promises. And this is where Angela reveals that Joshua's the one who took her to that taco place for breakfast, and Pope is rightfully angry. Over in the past, Manny, Colin, Julia, and not Julia, Manny, Colin, Janine, and Jake are at the store, and I guess they're going to steal from the store. But before they can, a police officer arrives, and yeah, tensions are arising because the police is suspicious of these people that Janine is with. He knows something's up, and he ends up sitting beside his partner and asking his partner about these reports about a man and a pregnant lady stealing stuff from people. And yeah, he knows that it's Janine, so he gets out and he walks towards Janine, and Colin notices. He runs out and he's like, officer, we don't want any trouble, but the officer has a gun. And then Colin has a gun, he shoots the officer, there's a shootout, they run, and I'm like, oh no, I just knew what was going to happen. Colin actually ends up killing a cop, if you guys see here in the corner over to the left. But however, they are able to escape. And it turns out that Colin was shot, and Colin dies. Y'all, Colin dies. And here I was thinking that Colin was going to run away. And I kind of thought that Colin would die, but I wasn't expecting him to die so soon. But yeah. Anyway, over at the bar, Deran, because he is going to travel out of the country with Adrian, he's trying to set everything right. He's trying to make sure that the bar is looked after when he leaves. So over at the Cody residence, Angela and Joshua have a very intense interaction where Angela is like, Joshua, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to separate me and Pope, but you won't be able to do it. And I know what you did, why you took me to the taco place so that I will relapse. And Joshua is like, I did it? You're blaming this on me? Was I the one who inserted the needle into your arm? And the way Joshua was looking at Angela with that weird expression on his face, I was like, Angela, you're in danger. So Craig is able to get the passports for Deran and Adrian. I'm not really sure if Deran and Adrian will be able to run away. Of course, it's Animal Kingdom. Some issues are going to arise. Maybe Deran will ask Adrian to just run away, like, in Shameless, Ian didn't go to Mexico with Mickey. So over in the past, Manny wants to ditch Julia because the police is looking for four people, three guys and a pregnant lady in a blue car. He doesn't want Janine to tag along with them, and he asks Janine to get out of the car and that he'll handle Colin's dead body. But Janine has the gun that Colin gifted her, and she ends up taking Manny and Jake out of the car, and she takes the car and she leads them on the side of the road. And she drives off with Colin's dead body, and she's like, what am I going to do now, Colin? So it turns out that she takes Colin's car, she takes the car and Colin's dead body to Jed, which was a very surprising turn for me. I really thought that she was just going to hide him somewhere, but no, she takes him to Jed. And over at the Cody residence, everyone is getting ready for the job that they're going to pull tomorrow. And Smurf isn't there, but Pope is like, she'll come back when it's time for the job. They still have a lot of things to handle for tomorrow. And this is where Pope has a conversation with Joshua, and he's like, Joshua, you lied to me, and I told you what will happen to you if you lied to me again. And Joshua is like, Pope, you don't understand. But Pope is like, when Smurf's gone, Joshua, you're gone too. So Craig ends up giving the passports to Deran. He's like, Deran, how long do you plan on, staying away? And Deran is like, as long as it takes for Adrian to get back on his feet. It might be weeks, it might be more than a week, it might be a month, but yeah, again, let's see if they are actually able to run away. So Jared ends up burying the car along with Colin's dead body in his farm, and Janine just looks at it crying. And yeah, it was a good episode, an enjoyable episode, a quick episode. Nothing much happened. However, there was a lot of interactions that I enjoyed, especially interaction with Angela and Pope, and then Pope and Joshua, and then Deran and Adrian. A lot of interactions. I'll be doing a written review of this for the Geekiary. The link to that will be down in the comment section below as soon as the review goes up. Let me know what you thought about Animal Kingdom season number 4, episode number 11. Julia, what do you think is going to happen in the final 2 episodes? Are you excited? Do you think someone is going to die? What do you think is going to happen in season 5? Let me know. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. And I'll see you guys later.